Thanks. I want to thank Sinn Féin for bringing forward this motion opposing the disgraceful deal entered into between Coillte and Gresham House. It seems that there's no crisis that the government doesn't think equity funds is the solution. Housing, climate, who are you going to call? Equity funds. Your neoliberal mantra is that private capital and profit making are the solution rather than the problem in both of these areas. The government has claimed that the reason for this deal is to help reach the afforestation targets required under the Climate Action Plan of 18% of forest cover. As the motion points out, Ireland has among the lowest levels of forest cover in all of Europe, at only 11% comparing to a European average of 40%. But you barely have to scratch the surface to realise that this deal is not motivated by the environment, but by cold, hard profit. Coilte's press release on the deal tells us that, quote, "The fund is designed to generate profits from the business of forestry and timber production," end quote. Likewise, a spokesperson for Gresham House has said that, quote, "Our aim is simple, to produce a consistent supply of certified timber for the Irish processing sector," end quote. From neither the government nor Coillte, nor unfortunately from Sinn Féin in this motion, is there any mention of the impact on biodiversity. That is left to environmental activists, including Friends of the Irish Environment, the Woodland League, Cree Cray, Save Leitrim, Save Cavan and others. They have all condemned this deal, and they have pointed out that not all forests are the same. Trees alone do not a forest make. A real forest is a complex, biodiverse ecosystem, not a lifeless monoculture of Sitka spruce. In supporting this deal, the government literally cannot see the wood for the trees. Likewise, the Citizens' Assembly on Biodiversity reacted to the deal by calling for a fundamental reassessment of forestry legislation to ensure that biodiversity and positive ecosystem services are core objectives for Coillte. You could be forgiven for assuming that the public body responsible for managing our forests would already have biodiversity as a core objective. But unfortunately, successive governments have ensured that that is not the case. Coillte was saved from privatisation in the past by a strong environmental campaign involving people before profit and many others. I remember speaking at a major rally alongside Richard Boyd Barrett and others at that time. However, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and Labour and now the Greens have made sure that its main goal, like that of too many publicly owned companies, is simply to ape the private sector in turning a profit regardless of the public good. In Coilte's case, this has meant planting vast monocultures of Sitka spruce to go with the vast monocultures of grass that make up most of the rest of this green country. Gresham House are on the record as saying that they intend to continue that by planting up to 80% Sitka spruce, continuing a form of ecocide that has turned our forests into graveyards of biodiversity, not guardians of it. All genuine environmentalists should be vehemently opposing this deal. Yet here we have a Green Party junior minister and the Green Party itself shamefully endorsing and greenwashing it. I call on everyone to support the protest against this deal outside the Dáil on Thursday. I'm sure this will be the first of many until this is stopped. We need to bring together genuine environmentalists, communities, small farmers and public bodies like Coillte, which should be acting in a very different way, to democratically develop a radically different model of forest and woodland management. This new model must be an eco-centric one with biodiversity and rewilding, not profit-making at its heart. We must aim to restore and protect nature in a way that supports communities and small farmers rather than box-ticking carbon offsets and lining the pockets of international investors.